Right now, the Senate Committee on State Affairs is hearing public testimony on several pressing issues, including election security. And they've been in this meeting since 9 this morning.
KVUE's Malia Masamoto has been at the Capitol all day listening to that hearing. Emilia, what can you tell us about the main issues being discussed?
Well, Quita and Darnisha, this morning the committee brought in experts to testify on how these big tech companies can pose a threat to election security. Former employees of Google and Facebook testified this morning that these big companies actually have political candidates that they favor, and they censor the posts and websites of their opponents, and they also testified they create biased algorithms. Now, how does this apply to Texas? Those testifying were asking Texas legislators to get involved by asking for subpoenas from Google and Facebook about their AI systems and all of their online algorithms, things like that. And some committee members also asked about whether or not it would be even possible for the state to regulate these big tech companies. They were asking questions about, is it possible to have the authority to make sure Google uses a non-biased algorithm when people search something in Texas, even though in other states it may not be that same unbiased system, but to make sure Texas can regulate that. So that was something they were talking about and just dreaming up if that possibility is even there. But overall, the concern of all who testified was the effect these big tech companies could have on this upcoming election.
This is the new kind of subliminal manipulation, and it's occurring on a scale that has never occurred before. It's not just affecting Americans, it's affecting more than 5 billion people around the world. And by the way, Google doesn't always favor the left. They favor whoever they want to favor so that it suits the company. In Cuba, they favor the right.
At about noon today, the committee actually voted and approved a motion authorizing subpoenas about this subject for TikTok, X, Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google, and Meta, which is the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. Senator Brian Hughes said they'll be sending a letter to these companies first asking for this information and then sending a subpoena to them if they don't comply with that request. Now, when I went into the meeting about a few minutes ago before this show started, the committee was talking about Texas land and assets. They were talking about some housing affordability in this state, but I just saw a few minutes ago that all of the speakers that were signed up to talk about banning Delta 8 and 9 had just walked in there, so I'm assuming they're either close to starting that conversation or have started it now. That's expected to be another long one. There's many, many speakers that have signed up to speak today, so it's expecting to be a long night here at Quita.
Well, Malia, the Texas legislature isn't even in session right now, which means that they can't file or vote on any bills. So what actually sparked this committee hearing today?
Well, Quita, the Senate State Affairs Committee is they're discussing these issues that are a part of Lieutenant Governor Dan Pastrick's list of interim charges. No, those interim charges are things that he wants the Senate to study before next year's legislative session can start. And he's asking each committee to submit a report with policy recommendations before December 1st. Live at the Capitol, Malia Masamoto, KVUE News.